You try to build a financial cushion, but you find yourself stuck on a savings treadmill. You save a few $100s, and then an unexpected car repair or a medical bill wipes out your progress. The late billionaire investor Charlie Munger famously captured this struggle. He stated that accumulating your first $100,000 is a painful, grueling process, but you have to find a way to do it, regardless of the sacrifice. Munger was pointing to a specific mathematical threshold. It is the exact boundary where your capital stops requiring your physical effort and begins generating meaningful momentum on its own. Below that six-figure mark, your investment returns are practically invisible. A great year in the market might yield enough to buy a new set of tires, but it won't cover a sudden job loss. You are still doing all the heavy lifting. Crossing this threshold creates a mathematical escape velocity. At this scale, your portfolio begins to generate enough yield to act as a resilient layer of protection against the standard emergencies that keep most people broke. The mechanics of this shift come down to pure math. This quantitative graph illustrates the power of that principal base. If you have $100,000 invested at a conservative historical market return of 8%, that money generates $8,000 in growth over 12 months. Divide that out, and your portfolio is quietly handing you $667 every single month while you sleep. To bring home that exact same $667 from your day job, you would actually need to earn about $950 in gross wages before taxes. Your money is essentially working a highly efficient second job for you. If you try to reach this tier by simply saving 5% of whatever happens to be left in your checking account at the end of the month, inflation will eat your progress alive. Compressing the timeline to hit that tipping point requires discarding the standard savings playbook entirely and deploying aggressive, deliberate tactics. Reaching that first $100,000 requires a deliberate prioritization of long-term asset accumulation over immediate short-term consumption. The first step is executing a brutal expense audit. You pull 3 months of bank statements and draw a hard line between your fixed, non-negotiable needs and your variable, mindless waste. The target is no longer scraping by with leftovers. The new baseline requirement is capturing 20 to 30% of your total take-home pay. A strategy of conscious spending allows for this aggressive progress without forcing you into the grind of total deprivation. By mercilessly cutting the invisible drains on your accounts, like forgotten streaming subscriptions or daily convenience purchases, you actually free up cash to spend guilt-free on the things you truly value. Tracking your cash and redirecting it with intention provides the raw fuel needed to fire up an investment engine. With the audit complete, you lock in that extra cash flow using strict mechanical rules to block lifestyle inflation. First is the 30-day delay rule. Any non-essential impulse purchase over $100 goes on a mandatory waiting list for a month. Most of the time, the urge to buy it evaporates. Next is the windfall strategy. Every time a bonus, a tax refund, or a cash gift lands in your lap, 100% of it goes straight into your portfolio. Then you implement the 1% December increase. Once a year, you bump up your savings rate by a single percentage point, a margin so small your daily budget won't notice it. You enforce all of this by building an automated system. Setting your accounts to move money the second a paycheck clears builds a mechanical safeguard that bypasses the need for daily financial decision-making. This flowchart maps exactly where that automated cash needs to go. The system splits your money directly into a checking account for bills, a high-yield savings account for emergencies, and low-cost index funds for aggressive growth. By layering these unbending rules over an automated framework, you create a financial trap that guarantees capital accumulation, regardless of your personal discipline on any given day. To see how this plays out in reality, look at investor Obioha Okereke. At 18, he opened his first brokerage account with just $150. After graduating, he executed one massive expense cut. He chose to live at home, eliminating rent entirely, and channeled 80% of his income straight into the market. By rejecting the standard timeline, he amassed a net worth of $100,000 by the time he was 23. This timeline graph demonstrates the phenomenon known as time compression. Reaching that initial $100,000 often takes 5 years of intense, aggressive saving. But if you maintain those exact same habits, compound interest takes over. Hitting the next $100,000 takes just 3 additional years. The gap continues to shrink. Crossing 300,000 requires only 2.5 years. Reaching this tier delivers a massive psychological dividend. Daily financial anxiety vanishes, you gain leverage to negotiate your salary, and you secure the power to simply walk away from a toxic job. The sheer discipline required to scrape together that first 100 grand forces you to forge a rigid financial architecture. Once those mechanics are locked in, building $1 million is simply a matter of time.